I knew something was wrong when my mother insisted on making the announcement during her birthday dinner. Not after, when the guests had gone home. Not privately, just family. During. With all 47 guests watching, champagne glasses raised for what they thought would be a sweet toast. Before we cut the cake, Mom said, standing at the head of the table in the private dining room, Harold and I have something important to share. I caught my husband David's eye. He knew that tone. We'd heard it before every major family announcement that somehow always left me holding the bill. As you all know, we're not getting any younger, Dad said, taking Mom's hand. So we've been thinking about the future. About our legacy. My sister Catherine smiled from across the table, fresh off her flight from Paris. She looked perfect, as always. Hermès scarf, designer dress, the kind of polished appearance that came from 20 years of living her dreams while I handled reality. We've decided to leave everything to Catherine, Mom announced, beaming at my sister. The house, the vacation property, all our investments. She'll need it more than Hannah. The words hung in the air like a slap. After all, Mom continued, oblivious to the shocked silence, Hannah's so successful. She doesn't need our help. But Katie, pursuing her art in Europe, she's always struggled financially. It's only fair. Fair. I felt David's hand on my knee under the table, squeezing gently. A warning. A comfort. Both. Aunt Martha was the first to speak. Well, that's generous of you, thinking of Catherine's future. She's always been the dreamer in the family, Dad added proudly. Following her passion instead of chasing money. We want to make sure she's taken care of. I smiled. It was a genuine smile, which probably should have warned them. That's wonderful, I said clearly. Katie, congratulations. Catherine had the grace to look uncomfortable. Hannah, we should talk about this. No need, I said, pulling out my phone. But since we're making announcements, I have one too. Hannah, this isn't the time, Mom started. You're right, Mom. 20 years ago would have been the time. But better late than never. I opened my banking app. Does everyone want to see something interesting? What are you doing? Dad demanded, showing everyone the real story of sacrifice in this family. I connected my phone to the restaurant's presentation screen. Perks of knowing the owner. Let's start with January 2004. Mom's knee replacement surgery. $12,000 after insurance. Paid by Hannah Morrison. The bank statement appeared on screen. February 2004, Dad's cardiac medication, not covered by Medicare. $500 monthly. Paid by Hannah Morrison. Hannah, stop this, Mom hissed. March 2004, mortgage payment when Dad was laid off. $2,200. Paid by Hannah Morrison. Should I continue? I have 20 years of records. I swiped through screenshot after screenshot. Medical bills. Mortgage payments. Car repairs. Home health aides. Medications. Surgeries. The mundane expenses of aging that I'd quietly handled while Catherine sent postcards from Prague. December 2009, I continued. Catherine's student loans. $45,000. Who co-signed? Hannah. Who paid when she defaulted? Hannah. That's not fair. Catherine protested. I was finding myself. For 20 years? I asked mildly. That's quite a long journey of self-discovery. The room was dead silent except for the soft whoosh of screenshots sliding across the screen. Year after year. Bill after bill. Every sacrifice itemized. September 2015. Dad's cancer treatment. Experimental drug not covered by insurance. $8,000 per month for 6 months. Paid by Hannah Morrison, who took a second mortgage on her house. David squeezed my hand. He begged me not to take that mortgage. But what was I supposed to do? Let my father die? June 2018. Mom's stroke. 3 months in specialized rehabilitation. $150,000. Paid by Hannah Morrison, who emptied her retirement account. We never asked you to, Mom started. No, you never asked. You just called crying about losing the house. About not being able to afford treatment. About how scared you were. And I handled it. Like I always handled it. This is so tacky, Cousin Jennifer muttered. Talking about money at a birthday party. You're right, I agreed. Let's talk about time instead. Every doctor's appointment I drove them to while Catherine was finding herself. Every night I spent in the hospital. Every holiday I hosted because Catherine couldn't afford to fly home, though she managed trips to Bali and Tokyo. You chose to help, Catherine said. No one forced you, and you chose to leave. For 20 years. But somehow you're the one who needs the inheritance. You have money, she cried. You married David, you have that big house you. I had money. Past tense. Want to know where it went? I gestured at the screen. 20 years of being the only functional adult child. 20 years of Hannah will handle it. 20 years of Catherine's too artistic to worry about such mundane things. That's enough, Dad said, his face purple. You've made your point. You're upset about our decision. But it's done. The will is signed. Oh, I know, I said. I'm not contesting it. Katie can have every penny. Then what is this about? Mom demanded. This is about truth. About making sure everyone here knows exactly who sacrificed what. Because in 5 years, when you need another surgery or home care, or just someone to drive you to dialysis, Katie will still be in Paris. And I'll be done. Done. Mom's voice wavered. Done. I've paid my share. More than my share. Katie can handle the next 20 years. After all, she's getting the house. She can sell it for your care. Or move back to help. Or find the money somewhere else. But it won't be from me. You can't just abandon us. Dad said. We're your parents. I'm not abandoning you. I'm giving you exactly what you're giving me. Nothing. I stood up, David rising with me. Around the table, faces showed a mix of shock, disapproval, and, from a few, understanding. Uncle Ray gave me a small nod. He'd watched me juggle everything for years. Happy birthday, Mom, I said. Katie, the house has a new roof, by the way. I paid for that last year. And the HVAC system is only 2 years old, also me. The property taxes are due in January. It's about $12,000. Good luck with that. Hannah, please, Catherine said, and for the first time in 20 years she looked panicked. I don't know how to, I can't. You'll figure it out. You're a dreamer, remember? Dream up a solution. We left then, walking past the birthday cake, past the relatives who would be gossiping about this for decades, past my parents who were just beginning to realize what they'd done. In the car, David finally spoke. You okay? You know what? I actually am. For the first time in 20 years, I'm not carrying them anymore. The screenshots were a nice touch. I've been keeping records since Dad's first heart attack. Figured someday I'd need proof that I wasn't the selfish daughter they painted me as. What if they're right? What if Catherine does step up? I laughed. She won't. She'll sell everything within a year and disappear back to Europe. They'll be in a nursing home within 5, begging me to help. And will you? I thought about it. 20 years of sleepless nights. 20 years of choosing their needs over my own. 20 years of being responsible while Catherine was special. No, I said finally. I won't. They made their choice. They chose the dream over the reality. They chose the absent daughter over the present one. They can live with that choice. My phone buzzed. Mom. I declined the call. It buzzed again. Catherine. Declined. Then a text from my cousin Michael. About time someone said it. Grandma would be proud. Grandma. She'd seen this coming. Don't give them everything, Hannah, she'd warned before she died. Save something for yourself. I hadn't listened. I'd given them everything. My savings, my security, myself. But not anymore. They wanted to leave their legacy to Catherine? Fine. Their legacy was debt and illness, and the expectation that someone else would fix it. She could have it all. The next morning, I woke to 47 missed calls. I didn't return any of them. Instead, I called my financial advisor. I want to restart my retirement savings, I said. Aggressively. I'm done funding other people's lives. It took 6 months for the first real crisis to hit. Dad needed a procedure. Insurance wouldn't cover it all. The copay was $15,000. Catherine called from Paris. I don't have that kind of money. Sell something, I suggested. Or take out a loan against the house you're inheriting. I can't get a loan. My credit is, you have to help. No, I don't. You're getting everything, remember? This is part of everything. They could die. Then you'd inherit faster. She hung up on me. They found the money somewhere. Probably mortgaged the house. I didn't ask, didn't offer, didn't care. A year later, Mom fell. Broken hip. 3 months of rehab needed. Catherine flew home for exactly 1 week before declaring she had to get back to her work. Please, Mom begged when I answered her call by mistake. Just this once. Katie doesn't understand the insurance forms, and I need someone to. Hire a patient advocate, I said. They're expensive but very helpful. We can't afford. You have a house worth $800,000 and investment accounts. You're not poor. You just don't want to spend your own money. Not my problem anymore. The family reunions became awkward. I still attended. I had nothing to be ashamed of, but the dynamic had shifted. Catherine stopped coming altogether. Too expensive, she said. My parents aged rapidly, the stress of handling their own affairs wearing on them. You broke them, Aunt Martha told me at Christmas. No, I corrected. I set them free. Free to enjoy the consequences of their choices. Just like they set me free. But they're struggling. So did I. For 20 years. While everyone watched and let me. Here's the thing about sacrifice. It's only noble when it's recognized. When it's expected, demanded, taken for granted. That's not sacrifice. That's exploitation. My parents thought they were being fair, leaving everything to the child who needed it. They forgot that need comes in many forms. Catherine needed money. But I needed acknowledgement. I needed reciprocity. I needed parents who saw me as more than a safety net. I didn't get what I needed. So they won't either. The last time I saw them was at Mom's 75th birthday. A small affair this time. Restaurant dinner, just family. Catherine was notably absent. Paris was so far, and flights were so expensive. They looked older. Frilier. The house was becoming too much, they admitted. The stairs were hard. The maintenance overwhelming. We're thinking of selling, Dad said carefully. Moving to assisted living. That's probably wise, I agreed. It's just, the good places are so expensive. I waited. They waited. The silence stretched. Finally, Mom broke. Hannah, we made a mistake. Did you? We should have been fair. Should have split things evenly. Interesting definition of fair, considering I'm the only one who paid for anything. We want to change the will. No. 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 You made your choice. Live with it. Or don't. But either way, it's not my concern. How can you be so cold? 20 years of practice. I left them with a check. It seemed fitting. David asked me once if I regret it. The screenshots. The public revelation. The bridge burning. No, I told him. I regret the 20 years I spent believing that love meant accepting less than nothing in return. I regret every vacation we didn't take because Mom needed a procedure. I regret every night I spent stressed about their bills instead of enjoying our life. But not this. Never this. They taught me something valuable. They taught me that just because someone is family doesn't mean they have your best interests at heart. They taught me that sacrifice without appreciation is just slow-motion self-destruction. They taught me that it's okay to stop pouring from an empty cup. Catherine still sends Christmas cards from whatever European city she's in. Pretty pictures, no return address. She signs them, your sister, as if I might have forgotten. My parents still call occasionally. I don't answer. David says they look rough when he sees them around town. Getting by, but just barely. Good, I tell him. That's more than some people get. Because here's what 20 years of thankless sacrifice taught me. Fair isn't about need. It's about acknowledgement. It's about reciprocity. It's about understanding that the person who shows up deserves more than the person who shows off. They wanted to give everything to Catherine. They did. They gave her the house, the money, and the responsibility. They gave me something too, though they didn't mean to. They gave me freedom. And I'm keeping it.